Some nights you lie down exhausted, but your mind refuses to follow. The clock keeps moving. You shift your pillow, change positions, but nothing works. Falling asleep used to be so much easier. And for millions of seniors after 65, this quiet struggle repeats itself night after night. But there's hope. In this episode, you'll discover a centuries-old Japanese sleep ritual you can do yourself that helps calm the body, slow the breath, and retrain your brain to rest naturally without pills in as little as 7 days. Welcome back, everyone, to the Senior Health Podcast, where East meets West to help you stay strong, steady, and restored through every season of life. Now listen, a recent study in the Journal of Sleep Medicine found that nearly 70% of adults over 65 experience insomnia symptoms. Yet fewer than 1 in 5 ever learn non-drug methods to reset their sleep cycle. And even more striking is that simple breath touch techniques can lower nighttime heart rate and improve sleep quality within a week. So to help us understand how this works and how to bring restful nights back into your life, sitting across from me is Japan's oldest practicing physician, over 100 years old and still treating patients daily. Welcome back to the show, Doctor. This topic feels deeply needed, doesn't it?
Thank you, John. Yes, because many seniors believe poor sleep is inevitable with age. But it's not. In most cases, the body simply forgets the rhythm of rest. After 65, our nervous system becomes too alert, too cautious, and it needs to be gently reminded how to settle again.
That's fascinating, Doctor. For so many listeners, the frustration runs deep. You're doing everything right, winding down early, avoiding screens, yet your body stays awake. Your thoughts keep spinning. And you start to wonder, is this just what getting older feels like?
It's not aging, John. It's miscommunication. The body and the brain have lost their conversation. I've seen this in thousands of patients. Their hearts race while their muscles are pleading for rest. So in this episode, we'll restore that conversation through a simple hand and breath practice that reteaches the nervous system how to relax.
I love that. And I think many seniors will too, because it means there's something they can actually do tonight to feel change begin.
Yes, and if you are listening right now, do not click off. The information I will be giving in a couple of minutes will change your life. I'll share exactly how to practice this for 7 days so the body remembers how to fall asleep on its own.
That reminds me of one of my patients, a retired teacher who told me she hadn't slept through the night in years. She said, "I fall asleep tired and wake up tired." But after learning a technique almost identical to the one you're describing, she came back a week later and said, "For the first time in years, I woke up before my alarm rested."
I hear stories like that often. The body wants to heal. It just needs the signal.
So, before we get to how to fix it, I think we need to understand why sleep even changes so much after 65. What actually happens in the body that makes rest harder to find?
After 65, John, the body begins to lose some of its inner rhythm. The sleep hormone melatonin releases at the wrong time, and cortisol, the alert hormone, stays higher for longer. The brain still wants to rest, but the body behaves as if morning never ends. This creates a quiet tug-of-war between exhaustion and alertness that leaves many seniors caught in the middle.
That's exactly how patients describe it. "I'm tired, but I can't switch off." It's almost like the off button is still glowing, even when the lights are out.
Yes, and that button stays lit because of something deeper. Our nervous system becomes too trained for vigilance. Decades of small stress signals, traffic noise, news, medications, loneliness, all keep the body slightly on guard. Over time, it forgets what deep calm feels like, even when the mind is begging for it.
That's powerful, Doctor. It's not that the body won't rest, it's that it's forgotten how.
Exactly. Most seniors think sleep is just about closing your eyes, but it begins with trust. If the body doesn't feel safe, it won't let go, no matter how tired the brain feels. And here's the secret, John. The body can be taught to feel safe again, but not with pills or force. It has to be reminded through signals that speak its oldest language.
That sounds beautiful and mysterious. When you say its oldest language, do you mean something physical? A kind of communication the body still remembers even after all these years?
Yes, John. The body's oldest language is touch, breath, and rhythm. Long before we spoke words, this was how we told ourselves we were safe. Every heartbeat, every slow exhale, every gentle contact of skin against skin, it all sent the same message. You can rest now, but as life grows louder and faster, that language fades, and the body forgets how to listen.
That's a haunting idea that the very signals that once calmed us have been drowned out by the noise of daily life. It makes me think of how many seniors go to bed tense, scrolling their phones, barely breathing at all.
Exactly. We've replaced stillness with stimulation. The body waits for calm, but instead it hears 1,000 little alarms: light, sound, thought. Over time, the nervous system interprets that constant background activity as danger, and when the body feels unsafe, sleep becomes impossible, no matter how soft the bed or how dark the room.
So when you speak of this forgotten language, it's not mystical, it's biological. It's how the body once self-soothed.
Yes. Think of it like an old song the body used to hum at night. It knows the tune even if the mind has forgotten the words, and a few minutes we're going to help it remember, through one of the simplest signals we still carry in our hands.
That makes me curious already. You've mentioned the hands more than once tonight, and I can't help wondering why they're. What makes them such a powerful starting point for bringing the body back into calm?
Because the hands are an extension of the heart, John. Every nerve, every pulse in them is connected to the same network that governs calm and safety. When you hold or warm your hands, you're not just touching skin. You're touching the doorway to your nervous system. And in traditional Japanese medicine, the hands are seen as translators between mind and body, always ready to carry messages of peace.
That's remarkable. It makes sense why touch feels grounding when someone holds your hand. Everything slows down. Even your breathing changes without you thinking about it.
Exactly. The same connection works in reverse. When you give your own hands that same attention, the body interprets it as care. Blood flow improves, the vagus nerve activates, and within seconds the heartbeat begins to soften its rhythm. The mind follows that signal because it finally senses the body is listening again.
It's fascinating how something so subtle can create such a deep shift, like the body has been waiting its whole life for this reminder.
It has. And here's the part most seniors never realize. You don't need years of meditation or complex rituals. The simplest gesture, done with presence, can reopen that entire pathway. And in Japan, we teach a technique that captures this perfectly. It takes less than a minute, needs no tools, and yet it resets the body's rhythm more effectively than most medicines ever could.
That sounds extraordinary, Doctor. Now I have to ask, what is this technique exactly, and how can someone begin using it tonight?
It begins with something so simple that people almost laugh when I first show them. You take one hand in the other, gently, like you'd hold the hand of a loved one you don't want to wake, and you wrap your fingers around a single finger. It can be the thumb, or whichever finger feels most natural to start. The key is to apply only light, steady pressure, just enough to feel the pulse beneath your thumb. Then you breathe. Slow inhale through the nose for about 4 seconds, and an even slower exhale through the mouth for 6 or 7. Each breath should feel like a quiet wave that rocks the body toward stillness.
That's beautiful, Doctor. It sounds like a ritual of awareness, one that brings attention back into the body, away from the noise of the mind.
That's exactly what it is. With every slow breath, you're asking the nervous system to stand down. The finger you hold becomes an anchor, a point of connection that tells the heart and lungs to find each other again. You keep holding that finger through about 10 breaths, feeling its temperature, its rhythm, even the faint pulse that begins to match your breathing. That pulse is proof that circulation is opening and the body is shifting toward calm.
It's incredible that something so small could have that much influence. People think of sleep as something that happens only in the brain, not in the hands.
Yes, and that's one of our biggest misunderstandings. The hands are dense with sensory nerves that link directly to the parasympathetic system, the part responsible for rest and recovery. When you give them warmth and gentle pressure, the vagus nerve activates, blood pressure eases, and heart rate begins to slow. You can feel it. The skin softens, the shoulders drop, the breath lengthens without effort. It's the same cascade the body uses to fall asleep naturally.
It's almost like giving your body permission to relax, something it may have forgotten how to do on its own.
Precisely. Once you finish one finger, you move slowly to the next. Index, middle, ring, and finally the pinky. Don't rush. 10 or 12 breaths per finger is enough. What matters most is presence. Some people prefer to do this lying down, resting the hands on the chest or stomach so they can feel their breathing. Others sit upright, elbows supported, letting gravity add a little weight to the gesture. Both work as long as you stay relaxed and unhurried.
That's so vivid, Doctor. I can almost feel how the hands would grow warmer, how the pulse might begin to echo through the body.
You'll notice subtle signs. A sigh escaping, eyes growing heavier, the mind wandering toward images instead of words. That's the nervous system switching tracks, leaving the alert mode and entering recovery. In Japan, we've used this method for generations to ease sleeplessness, anxiety, and even grief. Modern researchers now see the same results: reduced cortisol, steadier heart rhythms, and faster onset of deep sleep. What our ancestors called touching stillness is now measurable in every lab that studies calm.
It's amazing to think that something this gentle could shift the entire system without a single pill or device.
That's why I trust it, John. It's not a trick. It's a reminder. The body doesn't need to be convinced. It only needs to be heard. When you hold your fingers and breathe, you're telling the body, "I'm safe, you can rest now." And in that quiet, everything you've been fighting for begins to return naturally. Warmth, rhythm, sleep. It's like finding your heartbeat after years of losing track.
That's powerful, Doctor. It gives seniors something they can feel, not just think about something they can do tonight in their own bed, without fear or strain.
Yes, and the most beautiful part is this: the more you practice, the faster the body responds. Within 7 nights, most seniors find they're falling asleep before finishing the second hand. It becomes a conversation between pulse and breath, a gentle agreement that the day is over. So if you try it tonight, don't aim for perfection, just listen. The body always knows when it's being cared for, and it always answers.
That's extraordinary, Doctor. But I'm curious, for those who've struggled with sleep for years, how can they trust this small ritual again? What makes the body still capable of responding after all that time?
The body never truly forgets how to respond, John. Even after decades of poor sleep, the pathways for calm remain intact. They're simply quiet. When we use gentle physical signals like breath and touch, we reawaken those dormant circuits, the nerves, the hormones, the subtle chemical exchanges. They're all waiting for the familiar rhythm to return.
That's a hopeful way to think about it. It means no one is too old or too far gone to heal their rest.
Exactly. Aging changes the body's pace, not its potential. The same cells that once soothed a child to sleep are still there, still capable of resetting. It just takes consistency and kindness instead of control. I tell my patients, you don't have to force sleep, you have to invite it back.
That's so simple, but it feels profound, an invitation instead of a struggle.
Yes, because sleep can't be commanded. It's a relationship that deepens when you stop trying so hard. And there's one more reason this technique works so quickly. It speaks directly to the body's sense of trust.
Trust? That's an interesting way to describe it. How does trust come into play when we're talking about something as biological as sleep?
Trust is the first step toward healing, John. When the body feels safe, everything else follows. Breath, heart, and sleep. That's why this small practice matters so much. It teaches safety from the inside out.
It's such a gentle truth, Doctor. So many of our listeners have spent years fighting their bodies, chasing sleep, forcing calm, pushing through. Exhaustion. What you've shared tonight turns that fight into a friendship. Before we end, could you leave us with one line, something simple our audience can carry with them tonight?
Of course, rest is not the absence of movement. It is the return to harmony. Every breath is an invitation back to that balance.
That's beautiful, Doctor, and I think it's exactly what seniors needed to hear. So if you are still listening, we want to hear from you. Let us know in the comments that you finished the episode, and please watch the next one for your own benefit. We have picked the next episode especially for you.